So, as I've just stated, maybe if possible, you can recollect about how it first all began when how does Rinpoche first come to know about you, or if possible, you can give me how many years ago, and if not, it's okay, and how he came to know about you, and what is your first impression of Rinpoche at that time.
Thank you. I think it was 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
I think roughly. And he was recognized as the incarnation of the Zen Khyentse, whose monastery is based in eastern part of Tibet. And he was recognized as the reincarnation of Zen Khyentse. Then I think first teacher of the Rinpoche, as far as I understand, is the Song Rinpoche. Song Rinpoche. He was Song Rinpoche. And then Ledi Rinpoche, Khensu Chambayishi, and Gen Chambayishi, Khensu Chambayishi has the good relationship with me. Already Rinpoche knows about me through him.
Oh, I see.
And then he sent somebody to ask me it is possible for him to come to study with me here in the monastery. And then I was happily offered it, honestly offered it, on the way offered it at the time for him to come to study with me. Then he decided to come. He stayed first times maybe few months in the monastery, and he had already studied Buddhist philosophy with other gurus like Swami Rinpoche and Khensu Chambayishi. And he studied with me mainly about Pramana Vadika. Pramana Vadika, logic. It's logics. Written by Indian master Ramakirti. Yes, Ramakirti he studied. And then every day, and we had classes. Every day we had classes. He was very sharp.
It's very sharp.
Extremely sharp. Studied very well. And my first impression about him is I found him, of course, very intelligent person, and he was very kind. He had very kind heart, to help other people. When he was here, when he studied with me, and he had projects to support it, poor Tibetan families. He himself traveled it from door to door of the monastery, and whenever he found it, the problems. Some people sick, no help. Some have many children, find it difficult to look after them, and some old persons, in which he went door by door in area, and he supported financially, and also he supported this Tibetan medical institutions. They are very poor buildings. They can't provided many places for the sick people. He supported a lot this country. So very kind in the end he did, of course very gentle.
Gentle.
And then he went back for some times. Again he came. I think maybe few years. Study continuously with me.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So he stayed here for a couple
To
of
stay
months?
here a couple of months, then he went
He went
back.
back. Oh,
And then months later, again come here.
Oh, I see, just like this.
Yeah. We had very close
oh, very
relationship.
nice. So he studied under you personally?
Yes,
I see.
me. Yes.
Ah, wow, wonderful. And this relationship lasts for a few years after
Yeah,
that?
few years.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's really nice. So, if you can remember, one of the interesting questions that people always ask is, how was he? How was he like? You know, when he was a monk, he was in here. Is he still very different from what you see now? Because now he's, he's giving Dharma teaching. So, how do you see a lot of differences in his period of study here and now? Now he's like getting to follow.
Very active now.
Oh, still very active.
Very active. Then my impression when he was studying with me, what I found it him as a very kind person, good person. He always wanted to help poor people. See? Very compassionate.
Very compassionate.
Very compassionate. At that time, he didn't have much, I think, financial for himself.
Yes.
Whatever he had, he wanted to support. That is the, and as a result, now he have, he's benefiting many people.
That's right.
And also, I was so glad that he was able to come back to support his monasteries.
Yes. He's very
I think his ambition is to help others.
Yes.
That is part of the practice of the Bodhicitta.
Oh, Bodhicitta. He already observed this quality in him when he was even during his study. So he doesn't just study and study. He's interested in Dharma knowledge, but he also interested
And very
in
practical.
practical person.
Very practical. And what he wanted, I think, we had a lot of discussion about how to present these teachings to the modern world. To the modern world. I think my impression he has, because he was educated
Yes.
in America. He has already very good base of the modern knowledge.
Yes.
And apart of that, I think he has good qualities, and compassions of that. So he has very good skills to explain, to present it with his philosophy thoughts to the modern people, how to relate it with his teaching to everyday life.
Even at that time, he's already thinking about how to spread Dharma to the modern people.
How to relate it to the modern life, everyday life.
And you have active discussion together.
We have sometimes, between class, we have just checked about everyday life. What is your aim in the future? Things like that. Conversation.
Oh, that's very nice. So coming back to that point, then maybe you can tell us roughly, because I noticed that you spoke very good English, and that's
English is not.
it's very good. And because we heard from Rinpoche that you have been giving teachings in England some time ago. Maybe you can tell us about your time overseas and before you come back to Japan.
Yes, I came from Tibet, at the age of 25.
25.
That was in 1959.
Yes.
And then I went to the Baksa.
Baksa.
Is the first re-established Buddhist study as you like universities. I went there, and until we moved to the south, that was I think in 69. I stayed it. Then I spent a few years more here after we moved it south. Then after that, I think 1981, yes, I was sent to teach the Buddhism in England, in London.
London.
London Buddhist, Jamyang Buddhist Center.
Oh, yes.
Jamyang Buddhist Center.
That's now, is it the Lama Zopa Center?
Now it's Lama Sivas.
Yeah, I've been there once.
You
I was studying in England for 5 years.
I see.
So,
Yeah. You went there.
Yes, I went there many times.
Yeah.
Oh, so you gave teachings there. How long were you there in England?
I was in England from 1981 up to I think 82.
Just 1 year?
Yes.
1 year or so.
82. No. From 81 to 88.
Oh, 88.
88.
So
Almost about 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And that's when you learn the English so well. That's the,
Well, which college you studied?
oh,
in
I
England?
came from Cambridge University.
At Cambridge, you know.
So it's very close to me.
Yes.
Yes. Now there's a lot of Dharma centers going,
Yes.
activities going on in England and Europe.
I see.
Yeah, but that's also because we have the fortune to have teachers like you to go there and spread Dharma at that time. Now it's flourishing. It's going very well.
Yes.
Very nice.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
Oh, so then after 1988, then you come back directly to Japan to give.
Yes, to Devu. What happened was after 7 or 6 years, I was very seriously in health problem.
Oh.
Very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I had operation, quite an operation in London.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, I got diabetes, very serious diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yes, diabetes. So it took me to heal the cuts that done. Well, I have the operation
Right.
to heal took long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in countryside
I see.
for maybe another 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Then I come back.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I went to Dharamsala.
you went to Dharma.
His Holiness suggested to come to Dharamsala to have treatment with Tibetan doctor.
Oh, I see.
The Tibetan treatment, it helped.
It helped a lot.
Treatment.
Oh, I see.
So then still, of course, I'm diabetic,
Yeah.
on tablet.
I see. And after that, you come back here.
Here come
I
back
see.
to the different
And you still give regular teachings.
regular teachings every
Oh, I
day.
see. Oh, nice. Now, is it possible to ask before you come back to Tibet, to India, excuse me, you were in Tibet,
Yes.
and you are also from Japon Monastery.
Yes, I am.
And may I ask what's your guru?
Guru, my main guru, there are two in the world.
I see.
Khenso Dhanachandra Rinpoche and Shapur Khen Rinpoche. It's two.
Mm-hmm.
Both are now passed away.
Pass away.
Yes,
Oh,
passed away.
I see. That's really nice. I observed there are a lot of pictures of you and His Holiness as well.
Yes.
You have a strong
I was
connections.
very happy that I have seen His Holiness throne, photo throne in US country.
Oh,
Rinpoche have
yes,
sent.
yes, yes.
Show me. I
Yes,
was
yes,
very
that's
happy.
right. Yes, we hope that in future we have the fortunes to actually invite His Holiness to come to Malaysia.
Oh, that
And
is
Yes.
extremely important, would be extremely beneficial
Yes.
if you could arrange it,
Yes.
to invite his
Yes.
fellowship.
Yes. It would be. Rinpoche always say that he wants to. Invite and also make offerings to His Holiness in person. When we can all make this one, not just to Ganden, but actually in the future we can also to offer
Extremely,
to.
very good, very good.
We really hope that His Holiness can come to Malaysia and Southeast Asia.
Yeah, if you invite it, and His Holiness will definitely come.
Yes. Thank you. So now we have this Kachara house that we have this Kachara center that comes.
What is the name of your center?
Our center is called Kachara House.
Kachara.
So we have Kachara House, and we have, as you can see in the photo books that the other day, we actually brought it here.
Can I have
Yes, sure.
this one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yes, that's the.
Large.
It's not enough actually. We have more and more people coming to the class,
Yes.
and it's expanding. We may have to look for a new place.
I see.
And the purpose of coming and conduct the interviews is also we want to make it into a documentary for Kachara House and also its connection to Ganden Monastery, so that we can raise funds, raise awareness of Ganden, because as you know, Japong and Ganden, they are quite isolated.
Yes.
And people cannot stay here, they have to get permit. So it's not very accessible for modern people to come and visit. So we want to make into a film, and this film will be passed to the general public. And they understand more about Ganden and its connection to Kachara House. So in future, we can raise enough funds to build a retreat center.
Yes.
That's really the main
Yes,
purpose.
lovely. Very good person. I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's the Kachara House.
Yes. Tumbaba.
Yes.
Tara. Yes, very carry on your question.
So, what do you think, in your opinion, of the way that Kachara House itself, do you see it like as a branch of Ganden Monastery, and how do you think Buddha Dharma, in these days, we all know that it's very relevant to the modern people, but we would like to ask your opinion, how, what's your opinion of the spread of Buddha Dharma nowadays in Western society, and now of course in Southeast Asia, because most of us, we come from, we are under Mahayana training and all these things, and now Tibetan
We
Buddhism,
were born in
yes, and we're all Chinese, and now we really have the fortune to understand, to get connected to Tibetan Buddhism as well, and therefore all these centers that's coming up. What do you think about all these things? Is it very similar?
I think it is very important these times to have centers like you have to present it, its teachings to the people, especially in this generation, this period, the modern world see. And Buddha Dharma is, as far as I understand, not dogmatic.
Not dogmatic.
Religions. It's not only culture, it's universal heart. So all people, what they're looking for is the peace and the inner happiness. As we understand, see, we have in this period, in modern period, technology is highly developed. and people reach on the moon. But of course, I'm not saying that we don't need material development. Of course, we do need. Science provides it very beneficial to the humankind, in case of the mitigations, traveling facilities, and so on and so on. Don't need it to go in detail. But at the same time, people have the mental, problems, so much desires, anxieties, and stresses. So the Buddha Dharma, I think, it helps to specify all these thought and mental problems. I think, as his Holiness says, Buddha's teachings, Buddhist path, practice, dharmas, can very well go with modern development.
That's right.
So you have now huge responsibility.
Yes, that's true. His Holiness always says about the relevance of Dharma to bring inner happiness, inner peace.
Inner happiness, exactly what I mean.
Nice.
Inner happiness.
Because
And as I said, you have, of course, I understand Rinpoche is very keen to invite His Holiness to your center, and if you can, make these possibilities will be extremely beneficial. His Holiness will be very happy. But his aim is the same as what you're doing.
that's right. Coming back to the time when Rinpoche was here, I forgot to ask, is there any special interesting story or any interesting anecdotes of Rinpoche when he was here? Anything that leave a very strong impression? Maybe some kind of incidents, that strikes you every time you see Rinpoche. You can remember something, the incident that relates back at that time.
You mean at the first time when I
Not just the first time, maybe during the time, the many years that you were with Rinpoche. You see any particular incident that strikes you as being like, oh, maybe he's being very funny, he's being casual? Because we are...
he has the very good skills to deal with people, and he has such good qualities to make people feel happy, and his presented is always they give the good energy, happy energy to the people. So he was like that. Still, I found him like that.
Yeah, because a lot of us always wonder that now when he gives Dharma teachings, he's very active, very like a show person, and he use gestures and jokes to
yes. He has very good humor. Yes.
And at that time when he was here, he's
make people laugh. Laughing is the healing. When you laugh,
yeah, he always does that in the Dharma teachings these days. And we wonder whether that was all the time in him. So there was. So he. Okay. In that case, is it possible for you to maybe talk about how I don't know whether it's Rinpoche's work in at that time when he was in London. So he studied a lot, and he gave some other, as you mentioned about his community service. He went and served the medical center and so on. What other things in your memory has he done at that time, other than raising funds to help the monastery and also sponsor poor people and so on?
Well, I said as I remember, he provided financial support to extended medical institution in Manipur area. And I had the impression that he might have some more project to benefit the people, not only in medical areas but also in education, so on and so forth. But most times I spent it here, so I'm sorry I can't tell you details.
It's alright. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it is something that you're not so familiar with. So all in all, he has been here for a couple of months, and as time it goes back, he comes back, and that lasts for a few years, a couple of years. I see. So at the time when he left here and to Malaysia, as instructed by his guru to spread teachings, to spread Dharma teachings, did you talk to him at the very last instance?
Well, I met him 1 or 2 times, and she said to me, we had communications. She sent me letters quite often.
Oh, when he was in Malaysia?
Malaysia.
Oh, there's constant.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. And at that time, just constant letters, communication with you. Oh, I see. Oh, so, but at that time when he left, he didn't have a chance to say goodbye. All these things.
I think he came. He mentioned one time that he had planned to go to visit abroad. He didn't mention particularly in Malaysia.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's pretty much what we would like to know more about.
Juice.
Okay, thank you. Would you start?
Yes, I can have some. Gitu juga sih.
You speak really good English. Because we are afraid that, for some of the interviewers, they may not know.
Dina çaçkış. Çadançkış. Çağın pova dinarkış.
Because we are going to interview some people, some lamas,
Yeah.
but their English, they may not know English, so we need a translator.
Yeah.
Then it will be very difficult for them because they have to stay longer and all do all that. But with you, it's very easy. Yeah, very easy, very nice. Because Rinpoche said we have to interview you because you have good English, and also he really miss you a lot. Yeah, he miss you a lot.
Oh yes, which is very kind to me, and we have, very close relationship, feeling from heart to heart.
Oh wow, very nice. So now as you can see, the Dharma teachers, all these monks, they go through the education in monastic university, and eventually they become, rishis and qualified Dharma teachers, and they can all go overseas, abroad to teach Dharma, just like Rinpoche does. Is there any obstacles you see in, the Prepong and, Ganden, because as we all can see, there are severe difficulties in the prayer hall itself, in the library, the resources, and of course the place, the monastic university itself, is quite inaccessible to many people, foreigners, to come and learn Dharma. And do you see any things that can be done, not just Ganden, but also Drepung and all the university here, how to overcome those things, problems? Yes.
as you know, the lamas, when they go first, the difficulties, problem that they would often face is I think it's to understand Western people's mind and thinking. It takes a long time to understand this. I think essentially all human beings have the same mentality, but at culture level, they have the different way of thinking, see. And so I think this takes, even from my own experience,
Yes.
it took quite a long time to understand, see. If you don't understand Western way of thinking and Western cultural background, and you will find it difficult to present it, whatever suitable way to present the Buddhist teachings to the heart. So I think one of the main problems is the understanding barrier. There's a barrier between the cultures. So that is the one of the difficulties that lamas quite faces.
And but I'm sure there are some programs here that teach them about the modern people's lives. Like for instance, do they have to learn English? They have to learn different histories of different cultures and so on.
Yes, we had this kind of project. Now His Holiness open for young monks to learn science. The monasteries.
Also-
We have classes.
Oh, I see.
We take
Science. Okay.
And trainings also happen in Dharamsala sometimes. So they learn the method, see how to present it, these
Yeah.
teachings.
I see. So Rinpoche, in that case,
Chinese,
Chinese. Oh yeah.
and Tibetans, Mongolians, they have the various almost the same.
Yeah.
See, because they are born in Buddhist families, so we have not much problems to understand.
Cultural
But
differences.
see, one thing is, like Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore, scientifically and technologically very highly developed. People have the high modern education. But they're still interested in their own culture, Buddhist religions. Normally, when modern science and technology start to develop, it sometimes causes those people's belief in their own culture, beliefs in culture. But like Malaysia and Singapore, Thailand, although they are, are living in very highly developed, scientifically and technologically, but still they have the good faith in Buddhism. That is the I think very good.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Thank you.
Can you comment it on it?
I think it's true that we do value cultures, but on the other hand, it's also true that when people in Asia, especially Malaysia, Singapore, or even Taiwan, and people work very hard. The lifestyle gets very hectic.
Yes.
Every day busy, driving. Office, computer,
Very busy.
and to the point that sometimes we don't know, what's the meaning of all this. Is there a purpose in life? Is it something that's more fulfilling than just keep working and working? And do you want?
Value of life.
Yes. So we actually, in Asia, we start to see this problem coming up, and probably in US, in America, all over the world. That, as you say, as we all get technology advanced, we know how to use computers and so on, and increase our working efficiency and all these things. But at the same time, spiritual level, it's not coming up at the same pace. In fact, we realize that we are not any happier, with cars, with all these things coming. Something's missing. That's my personal
Yes,
opinion.
it's true.
And so,
I understand.
so when when we all first learn about Dharma, Tibetan Buddhism, we find that that's a very interesting perception to life, how you can become a happier person, and we are very fortunate.
Compassion. Compassion is very essential. Otherwise, see, in Tibet, when I was very small child, see, I think society is materially very poor. I must say, we have no modern light, electricity, cars, all these things. Is poor, but mentally very happy, as I understand. When you see some stench, visitors comes, you will have almost you have meeting your dear friend. There's no feeling of the fear, strangeness, very close, good heart feelings. So, see, very peace. I think this is because of the Buddhist teachings practice. See, compassion is very important. And so, when modern technology comes, lives become almost people first things, most priority is to give to make money.
I see.
So they think money is everything.
Very true.
So important. Everybody is thinking, forgetting the inner happiness, peace, and good heart, kind, understanding to each others. So, and people become mentally unhappy. Mentally unhappy. So, Buddhist teachings, they teach how to develop. In our education, the monasteries is not an intellectual teacher. Teacher himself has to give the example as an example. But I am not good. But teacher himself have to be good example to the students.
They have to practice what they teach.
Practice, and they show our everyday lives to the students.
Yes. That's very true. That's what we actually observe. We actually learn from Rinpoche and also High Lamas.
Yes.
Always what they say, and they do it through the body actions. It's consistent,
Yes.
and they believe the benefits of Dharma because of that. This is why we cherish Dharma so much.
Yes.
Okay. Where's my pencil? How many hours is that? How long is that? Okay. It shouldn't take too much of your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you so
we
much.
may actually, in future, because when we are doing the biography, if there are some missing information that everything, we may come back to here again, and if possible, we can request to have an audience again with you in
Yes,
future.
I'm happy.
Yes, thank you very much for giving so
Thank
much,
you.
Evan.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
正好欧里啊，缅甸的。
They are having class or debate.
It's very peaceful and quiet.
I mean, you feel spiritually very calm when you come here.
Yes,
Just wish I had more time to stay here.
yes.
But you need a permit, so
Yes.
a little bit tricky. Stanford is like the top university. But they ask questions which is exactly what we've been talking about. Studying so much, what's the meaning, and it doesn't help them overcome anger and all this. And he's one of the really good teaching. Very, very beneficial. 5,000.
When I was beginning, I had one time talking those people. It is possible to get rid of the anger forever. I said.